folks. Guys, I'm on the way to replace a heat pump. Guys, we came out here actually the past couple of years. This is an existing maintenance customer. Guys, we came out here for the AC maintenance last week, and I believe this is the heat pump for the main area unit. This customer has two heat pumps, one for the main area and one for the basement. The one in the basement rarely gets used, so the customer was never really concerned about the area. And also in the summertime, the basement is already cold, so that unit doesn't really run as often. But the main area heat pump, I went out there for the AC maintenance and we found the compressor tripping a breaker. So at that point, we couldn't even do a maintenance. That turned into an estimate. And guys, that heat pump is about, 2010, 2011. I think the air handler is everything is 410A, but the air handler is newer than the heat pump. But yeah, guys, that heat pump is definitely was on the decline. I mean, we did what we can years prior to prolong the lifespan of that heat pump, but that unit crapped out, and the customer understood that that unit was already on the decline of the mountain. He already got what he got out of that unit. But guys, we're on the way there right now to rip out that unit and put a new one in, and I'll see y'all when I get inside. All right, guys, this is the unit that we're going to replace today, and this is a 2-ton, I believe this was a 14-seer heat pump, and we're going to be installing a 15-seer 2-ton heat pump. And this was a unit that was tripping the breakers when I tried to come out here for the AC maintenance last week, and all the refrigerant is evacuated, and I got my electric out. One thing I'm going to do, I'll try to get this on camera, but guys, that attic, the floors are kind of shaky to say the least. I got to go upstairs and I got to braze, and this is up in the attic. I got to braze in the new filter dryer, but I'll try my best to record what I can up there, but I don't know how much space I'm going to have while still trying to keep my footing up there, because they got some plywood, but what they have up there is kind of shaky. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the lines. I'm going to replace this old pad and the old risers. Now, the old unit having pad and risers are better than this older unit sitting on the ground. Guys, I got a feeling if we remove this unit, the risers are probably going to be stuck to the unit. So I try not to reuse risers, because for the most part, they're probably going to break apart when you remove the older unit. So I always assume the old risers are going to crack away. So always buy new risers and you're good to go. Best case and worst case. But all right, guys, let's get to it. Let's cut this unit out and let's get this show on the road. I'll be back. All right, guys. I stand to be corrected. These risers didn't snap away, but I still got a new riser, so I don't really see a benefit in keeping these. And like I said, guys, they're only like maybe $10 for a 4-pack of 6-inch risers, so there's really no point in recycling old risers to begin with. But yeah, guys, what I'm going to do is I need my leveler. I'm going to bring the new pad, new risers, and we are going to have to reconfigure this and level this pad out. All right, let's get to it, y'all. I'll be back. All right, guys. I got the new pad leveled. Now we're gonna place our risers on the on the pad, and we're gonna start to put the new heat pump in place. Guys, what I usually like to do, depends if I'm only doing the heat pump. In this case, I got to do the heat pump and the filter dryer. I like dry fitting and then going inside and getting everything done and then coming back out here to braze, because typically, guys, doing the outside unit is the easiest. Usually it's the inside unit that requires like more time. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this out the way, put the risers on, and once I dry fit and get everything get the copper connected. I'm gonna go upstairs, and then I'm I'm probably gonna have to get a coupling and a small length of 3/8 copper for my liquid line, because I'm gonna need more space. Instead of unsweating the old filter dryer, I'm just gonna cut it out, because I think how that old filter dryer is up there, it's definitely not like in a feasible place. So I'm not even gonna try to unsweat it. I'm just gonna cut it out, put a new filter dryer in, use a coupling to extend it, and guys, we're gonna go about our merry way. But all right, let's get to it. Let me get this out of the way. I'll be back. Guys, as the old saying goes, you learn something new every day. What we're putting in is a 2-ton R410A ICP heat pump. And one thing I didn't know is, I know brand new filter dryers come with every condenser. They zip tie them right next to the high side and the low side ports of the condenser, but I never knew they give you bi-flow filter dryers with brand new heat pumps. I thought you had to buy them separately. So I actually had my bi-flow filter dryer already ready to go, but I'll use the one that they gave me. And of course, this is a fixed orifice, so you got to make sure, for one, we got to make sure there's an orifice in here. I'm using my camera for my eyesight. You guys see that orifice in there? Make sure it's an orifice, and also make sure that you have a washer around the threads there. All right, guys. Cool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my liquid line. Actually, no, I don't have to do that now. Since this unit is gonna be elevated, I'm gonna put the plastic cap back on here. I can do this once I mount this unit on the risers. And as far as installation, it's pretty simple, and it's a bunch of space. Only thing you need is wire nuts to connect the thermostat wires to your defrost board, and this is plug and play. Cool. All right, guys, let's get to it. I'll be back. All right, guys, as you see, I got everything dry fitted in. And guys, just some food for thought here. With this Heil 2-ton heat pump, the suction line port for my heat pump is 5/8. So I just had to use a small piece of 5/8, and I use a 5/8 by 3/4 reducer. Guys, if you didn't know, I actually didn't have my 5/8 line set. What I ended up using was, I had a piece of 1/2-inch plumbing pipe. And guys, we do water heaters as well, so we always keep a stick of 3/4 plumbing and a stick of 1/2-inch plumbing. And if you didn't know, hopefully you guys know this by now. This could save you a lot of time. Plumbing piping and refrigeration piping is roughly the same. The only difference is two things. Refrigeration piping or AC piping is soft copper. Plumbing piping is hard copper. And two, refrigeration sizing goes by outside diameter, and plumbing piping goes by inside diameter. What I mean by that, guys, is, remember, I didn't have my 5/8 refrigerant piping. I had 1/2-inch plumbing. 1/2-inch plumbing is 5/8 refrigeration. Also, and save this for future reference, once again, 5/8 plumbing, 1/2-inch plumbing is 5/8 refrigeration, and 7/8 refrigeration is 3/4 plumbing. So guys, always remember, refrigeration is always going to be one size bigger than plumbing, even though you're dealing with the exact same pipe. So remember that, guys. And like I said, if you do carry the line set in the truck, cool. But if you're just like me, if I'm in the middle of nowhere and I don't have the line set, I don't have to go to the supply house and get another roll of 5/8 copper. And like I said, guys, often when I need copper pipes, I don't need a whole length. I may need maybe 6 inches or less. So guys, with that small amount of length, you can always just use, like I said, a piece of plumbing. As long as you use the right size, like I said, you'll never go wrong with that. But all right, guys, moving along. I got to get what I need to go up in the attic and take care of that filter dryer. I got to get my headlamp. I don't need a kneeling pad because I'm going to be standing up. And I need my torch and my lighter. All right, guys, I'll meet you up there. All right, guys, I'm up in the attic. And yeah, the flooring is kind of tricky up here. I'm trying to hurry up and get this done so I can get up at this attic. But I got my new dryer dry fitted in. And this is important anytime you guys make a refrigerant related repair, meaning if you do have to open up the system, always make it a habit to replace the dryer. This will only help eliminate future issues, whether it be non-condensables or things of that nature moving forward. So when in doubt, always replace the dryer and you'll never regret it. All right, guys, let me get to it. Let me pop this, let me braze this in, and I'll be right back. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, guys, time for another pro tip. Anytime you're brazing in an area that you do not want to go back to 100 times, make sure, for one, you take your time and you're confident with your joints. Two, make sure you have an inspection mirror for these back areas that you can't see. This scenario, I can get to both ends, but if you're brazing, for instance, in a tight closet, before you leave that area, cool the joint down and make sure you're hitting this with a mirror so you can see all around the joint. Last thing you want to do is assume all this is good, and you go downstairs, pressurize it, and now guess what? You got to go right back up here again to seal up that joint. So guys, take your time when brazing. Do it once, take your time. You don't have to do it twice. Cool. So now moving forward, we got to take this outside and we got to braze our heat pump in outside, and then we're good to go. All right, guys, let's get to it. I'll see y'all outside. All right, guys, I got everything connected and the system's been holding pressure, 400 PSI for the past 20 minutes. Now I got to put my pins in and we're going to pull a vacuum, and I'll have that vacuum pump on for a while because I got to tie in the electric. And also I got to clean up around the corner here. But all right, guys, let's let this nitrogen out and let's get our pins in before we get this unit in the vacuum. I'll be right back. All right, guys, pull the vacuum, and right now I'm just cracking. I put my pins in already. Right now I'm just cracking the valves. And guys, I stand to be corrected. One of my suppliers told me that any existing Fortinet units will be shipped dry. So what I did was I actually bought another can of Fortinet just to be on the safe side. And guys, I just cracked open the valves, and there's definitely some Fortinet inside this condenser, inside this heat pump. So I don't know if maybe different brands are taking out the Fortinet of any existing units they sell, but yeah, guys, I guess to each his own. But guys, what I'm doing here, I'm just cracking these valves. And another thing, I mean, you can use your service wrench, but guys, my service wrench, it works for the liquid line, but for the suction line, with some brands, the suction line port is too big for the service wrench. Guys, what you need, especially if you're doing installs, or probably for service too, if you got to do pump downs, go to Home Depot, make sure you pick up a good Allen key set. I got a pack of these in every van. You take care of these and make sure, most importantly, you put these back. You'll never lose them. But guys, using that service wrench, it works for most units, but for some, the suction port may be too big, so you'll have to eventually still use an Allen key set. But like I say, get yourselves a quality set of Allen keys, and I mean, look, you'll never have to buy another pair again, or at least I never had to. I had these now for like what, almost 4 years, going on 5. So, and I know the only downside to these Allen keys is that it's not ratcheting like a wrench, but guys, I'd rather have everything I need and not be on that one install on a 4 o'clock on Friday, and now you got to go to Home Depot to get a 9/16 wrench because what you got is not big enough to work. So, but guys, let me finish cracking open both of these valves and let me put my caps on. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Everything's rocking and rolling. I'm just cleaning up. I tested the heat and my suction line got warm. I didn't have to add any refrigerant. I tested the heat and then I tested the AC. And I'm above freezing. Guys, right now, today is not like an extremely hot day. I know it's gonna rain later on, but right now it's about like 67, 66 degrees. But it's warm enough for us to get an idea if this unit is above freezing. But this customer is going to get a free heat and AC checkup. So we'll shoot back out here in the fall to go back in the attic to make sure the electric heat and everything is running. And then a year from now, next spring, we'll shoot back out here and we'll make sure everything is rocking and rolling here with this unit. But I'm glad this customer called when he did before it got hot. Now he's rocking and rolling. And guys, like I said earlier, he has a second heat pump and air handler for the basement, but this thing barely gets used. This thing was put in 2016, but guys, the inside of this unit is like almost brand new because it rarely gets used. He uses this a lot more in the winter than he does the heat in regards to the basement. But all right, guys, there you have it. New 2-ton heat pump, rocking and rolling. I got to do the paperwork and I got to do the walkthrough with the customer, and we're good to go. Peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one.